Most financial advisors insist you need a $1 million portfolio or a six-figure salary to feel secure. They push massive, distant targets that make the early stages of saving feel insignificant. But there is a smaller threshold where the rules of the game change. For many, that turning point happens at $20,000 in saved capital. It's the level where the mathematical returns start to represent real-world utility. Before reaching this point, every financial move requires maximum effort. You are essentially pushing a boulder against gravity, straining just to keep from rolling backward into debt. Most people burn out because they don't realize they are fighting gravity. They remain stuck in the same paycheck-to-paycheck cycle for decades, assuming the struggle is a permanent feature of life rather than a temporary hurdle. Living below that threshold often forces the brain into survival mode. It is a state where financial fear filters every life decision. The scarcity mindset forces you to agonize over micro decisions. You spend mental energy debating generic cereal brands or the cost of a coffee because every small expense carries the weight of a potential threat. This constant calculation consumes your mental bandwidth. It is difficult to formulate a growth strategy when your brain is entirely occupied by short-term firefighting. The real danger of this state isn't just a low bank balance. It's that your brain becomes habituated to reactive thinking, which paralyzes your ability to generate wealth. Crossing the $20,000 line provides the psychological relief needed to pull the brain out of that survival vacuum. Research from Vanguard shows that having just a $2,000 buffer increases financial well-being by 21%. Pushing that fund to $20,000 creates the breathing room required for long-term planning. At this level, life events lose their power to derail you. A broken laptop or a car repair is no longer a catastrophic emergency. It's a minor inconvenience. With your mental bandwidth freed up, you begin to recognize opportunities. You can actually consider investing in a business or a rental property, options that were invisible when you were simply trying to stay afloat. Achieving this cognitive freedom is a prerequisite for building wealth. You need the mental space before you can effectively use the mathematical advantages of capital. Once the mental shift is in place, the focus turns to the mathematics of scale. A 10% return on $2,000 yields $200. It's helpful, but it doesn't change your lifestyle. However, that same 10% return on $20,000 is $2,000. At this scale, your money is generating returns that cover real expenses. At $1,000 monthly with an 8% return, hitting your first $20,000 takes 19 months. The second $20,000 takes just 17 months, as your capital shaves 2 months off the timeline. At $400,000, your portfolio generates $20,000 in 5 months automatically. After crossing $20,000, your money functions as a self-replicating engine. The heavy boulder has finally reached the crest of the hill, and gravity is pulling in your favor. This shift also provides a practical advantage in your career that most people overlook. When you have no savings, you are forced to endure toxic work environments or unreasonable demands because you are one missed paycheck away from a crisis. Having $20,000 provides walking away money. The biggest threat to this momentum is the urge to spend your first $20,000 on a reward. Many people hit this milestone and immediately buy a flashy $30,000 car, effectively resetting their entire financial progress. Spending that capital has a massive opportunity cost. That same $30,000, if left to grow for 20 years, could represent over $200,000 of future wealth. The most lasting value of that first $20,000 is the identity shift required to save it. You have proven to yourself that you can control your money rather than being controlled by it. The $20,000 mark provides a foundation for designing a life of freedom rather than merely reacting to financial pressure. Most financial gurus insist you need $1 million in the bank or a six-figure salary to feel wealthy and start building serious momentum. But there is a much smaller, largely invisible financial barrier that serves as a tipping point. That number is exactly $20,000, the point where the mechanics of building wealth begin to change. Think of building wealth like pushing a massive weight against gravity. The initial movement requires the maximum possible physical exertion just to get the boulder rolling up the hill. The reason most people stay trapped in a paycheck-to-paycheck cycle is simple. They quit before realizing this distinct cresting point even exists. When you start from zero, you have no financial buffer. Your brain is forced to operate in survival mode, a state where your mental bandwidth is consumed by immediate, short-term threats. You end up accepting terrible job offers out of fear. You panic over routine utility bills. You become incapable of planning for the future because your mind is occupied with surviving until the next paycheck. Escaping this mode takes severe discipline. This chart tracks a steady monthly deposit of $1,000 with an 8% market return. It takes 19 grueling months of consistent saving just to reach the $20,000 mark. Crossing that 19-month finish line means the heaviest lifting is behind you. You have reached the crest of the hill. At $20,000, the mathematics of compound interest finally become large enough to assist with the heavy lifting. Look at the timeline. Reaching your second $20,000 takes only 17 months. Your initial $20,000 now acts as an independent employee, generating its own returns alongside your deposits, creating a wedge of growth that accelerates the entire process. We see the impact of scale comparing these bar graphs. A 10% return on a $2,000 base yields a tiny sliver of $200. But an 8% return on our $20,000 threshold yields $1,600 annually, flowing in without you working. This mathematical threshold is what transforms a bank account from a passive storage box into an active, wealth-generating engine. The math is compelling, but hitting this milestone also shifts how you respond to financial pressure and daily stress. This chart from Vanguard shows that having just a $2,000 emergency fund increases a person's baseline financial well-being by 21%. When you push that safety net to the $20,000 mark, roughly 3 to 6 months of expenses, everyday disasters are downgraded. A broken laptop or a sudden car repair becomes a minor inconvenience rather than a life-ruining emergency. You undergo an identity shift. By reaching this goal, you have proven capable of controlling your resources and executing delayed gratification over a long period. This evolution moves you from a defensive player reacting to threats into an offensive player who can actively scan for investment opportunities. Having a 3 to 6 month safety net creates a dynamic I call walking away money, providing leverage you didn't have when your bank account was empty. Because your survival is no longer tied to your next immediate paycheck, you can negotiate from a position of power. You can push back on unreasonable demands or leave a toxic work environment because you have the resources to find something better. Your focus shifts from micro decisions to macro strategy. You stop agonizing over coffee, start optimizing your housing costs, your personal income, and your market investments. This creates a positive feedback loop. Career leverage increases your income, which accelerates your savings, which in turn builds more wealth. As this momentum scales up, the numbers become staggering. By the time you reach $400,000, your portfolio generates $20,000 in passive returns every 5 months. But there is a trap that destroys this momentum at the very beginning. Many people treat their first $20,000 as a reward for good behavior, rather than the foundation of their future. They reach the milestone and immediately blow it on a $30,000 depreciating asset, like a new car. This split screen shows the true opportunity cost. While the car's value drops, a $30,000 investment could grow into roughly $200,000 in the market over 20 years. $20,000 is the dividing line, where you transition from reacting to your circumstances to intentionally designing them.